Hello, and welcome to my QTP video tutorial, where I will show you how to use a for next loop. In this video, I'll be answering the following three questions. First, what is a for next loop? Second, what is a real-world example of how to use a for next loop? And third, how do I write the code to use it? As a reminder, to stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button. This moves us to the first topic, which asks the question, what is a for next loop? A for next loop is used when you would like for something to happen a specific number of times. This moves us to the second topic, which asks the question, what is a real-world example of how to use a for next loop? Let's say you're taking a trip to the grocery store to buy 3 cans of green beans. When you get to the store, find the cans of green beans. Reach out your hand, grab a can, and place it into your cart. Then again, reach out your hand, grab a can, and place it into your cart. Then again, reach out your hand, grab a can, and place it into your cart. Once you have placed 3 cans of green beans into your cart, you can then proceed to a cashier to check out. This now moves us to the third topic, which asks the question, how do I write the code to use it? I will now show you how to write the code in QTP for a for next loop based on the example that was shown in the previous slide. To begin our example, I'll start by typing the word for, that's F-O-R, then hit the space bar. You'll notice that once I hit the space bar, QTP automatically filled in some additional code for me. As on the end of line 1, you'll see the word iterator equals 1, 2, 1, step 1. Then it created a blank line on line 2, and then it filled in the word next on line 3. So what I'll do is go ahead and delete off the additional code on line 1 that QTP created for me. So once you've done that, you'll only be left with the word for on line 1. I'll then type the letter I and hit the space bar, hit the equal sign, the space bar, the number 1, the word to as in T-O, and space, then a number 3. So when you finish typing that in, line 1 should read as for I equals 1, 2, 3. You would then have a blank line on line 2, and then the word next on line 3. What we have done here is set up the basic structure for what QTP will do for us in creating this loop that we have made. So what we're saying here is we would like QTP to iterate 3 times. It will begin at a count of 1. The next loop around will be iteration 2. The next loop around will be iteration 3. Now, let's move down to line 2. What we want to do is create a message box. And we can do this by typing that command, which is msgbox. For more information on message boxes and how to use them in your scripts, feel free to reference one of my other videos where I go into more information on those. Once you've typed that command, hit the space bar, and then type in open quotations. Then let's type the word iteration, then type a colon, then a space, a closing quotation, hit the space bar, and type an ampersand, which is Shift 7 on your keyboard, hit the space bar, then type the letter I. Now what this line of code is going to do is for each iteration through the for next loop, it will create a message box. It will begin by displaying the string of iteration, colon, space. Then what we're doing is concatenating the value of the variable I onto the end of that. And as the loop goes through, the first iteration I will have a value of 1. The second iteration I will have a value of 2. And the third iteration I will have a value of 3. So as we read those message boxes, the first one will say iteration 1, the second will say iteration 2, and the third will say iteration 3. So let's go ahead and run the script now so that we can see this happen. I'll be walking through this step by step so that way you can see this occur. As you can see, we're on line 1 currently. Now we'll go ahead and execute line 2 so we can see our message box. As you can see, we now see iteration 1, which again, it's displaying the value of the I variable, which since this is the first iteration, I has a value of 1. Let's now click through the message box, walk back through. Now at this point, we're now at our second iteration, so I now has a value of 2. As we can see now in this message box, we see iteration 2. So we'll click through that, step around the next time. I now has a value of 3. So we'll now see a message box that says iteration 3. So I'll now click through this and step out of the next. And that now completes our test run. This now concludes our video where I've answered the following 3 questions. First, what is a for next loop? Second, what is a real-world example of how to use a for next loop? And third, how do I write the code to use it? As a reminder, to stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button. Thank you, and I hope that you have a great day.